Traditional economic theory operates on a specific assumption that the value of a commodity is an inherent physical property of the object itself, much like its weight or its color. Economists observe the movement of markets and measure value as if they were physicists charting a static landscape. They look for mathematical constants in human behavior, treating the exchange of goods as a law of nature. This approach presents the current economic system as inevitable. By equating market dynamics with the laws of physics, the system appears to be an unchangeable reality that humans must simply weather. A commodity is a trivial thing, a physical object that satisfies a specific human need. However, analyzing an object beyond its immediate utility reveals a series of logical contradictions that the physical attributes cannot explain. When we treat an economy as an eternal law, we lose sight of the fact that it was historically created. This perspective masks the reality that because humans built this architecture, humans can alter it. Karl Marx began his comprehensive critique by actively challenging this naturalized view. In his analysis of political economy, he sought to isolate the exact moment where social relationships between people are converted into abstract numbers. Marx observed that an object cannot possess value as an isolated independent entity, just as a thing cannot be distant in itself, because distance requires a relationship between at least 2 points. Value only exists through a relationship between producers. This relationship is expressed through exchange value, the quantitative ratio in which one type of commodity is traded for another. Marx termed this commodity fetishism. It is a state where the social connections between human beings are perceived as the material properties of the things they produce. This perception is the objective reality of the capitalist market. Under this system, the social character of labor only reveals itself to the individuals through the movement of prices and the exchange of objects. Capitalist production is built on a series of disconnected workshops. Producers work independently, in isolation from the rest of society. They create use value, the direct physical utility an object has to satisfy a human want. During this private labor, there is no conscious social coordination. The producer does not know who will use the object or how it fits into the total labor of society. These isolated producers only make contact at one specific point, the marketplace. At the moment of exchange, products representing different types of physical labor are forced into a unified system of equivalence. This process equalizes different work by reducing them to standardized price units, allowing a coat to equal a certain amount of linen or gold. It is only during this trade that the producer's individual work finally asserts itself as a part of the total labor of society. In this system, the social link between people does not exist before the market. The act of exchanging things is the only mechanism that connects mutually indifferent individuals. Because humans only relate to one another through the exchange of products, their social relationships manifest as relationships between things. Once this inversion takes hold, the social structure reconfigures. The movement of objects becomes the dominant force, while human producers are reduced to price takers. Commodities take on a phantom objectivity. They appear to dictate the conditions of human life, determining whether a family prospers or starves based on the fluctuation of market rates. Marx borrowed the concept of fetishism from the study of religion, where humans create physical idols and then attribute independent ruling powers to those objects. The modern economy functions on this same logic. Objects made by human hands return to rule over their creators as if they were an external alien force. This focus on surface appearances defines what Marx called vulgar economy. These economists interpret the visible movement of prices as the final truth of human nature, rather than an outcome of social conditions. They codified this into the Trinity formula. This model treats capital, land, and labor as 3 autonomous springs of wealth, existing independently. But this formula hides the internal connection. Capital and land cannot generate returns without the application of human labor to drive the system. By focusing on these surface-level abstractions, the economist becomes a participant in the very fetishism they claim to analyze objectively. We return to the economist who searches for value within the physical attributes of a commodity, trying to find it in the thread of a coat or the grain of a harvest. To find the source of value, we must rip the object open and look past its physical form. Value converts every product into a social hieroglyphic. It is a material cipher representing a human relationship objectified and hidden from view. Analyzing this hieroglyph reveals that an object's value is the material expression of the abstract human labor time spent to produce it. Behind the triviality of a price tag lies a vast, interconnected record of collective human effort. Failing to recognize this social record allows the current state of labor to appear as a permanent, insurmountable condition of life. Historical materialism rejects this permanence. It teaches that economic structures are not natural laws, but historical phases with a beginning, a development, and an end. Analyzing the commodity reveals the economy as a human architecture. Because it is built by our hands, it can be redesigned by them.